Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tracy with TR's Tarot Talk 1111. I am here to do the full, I'm having a hard time saying this, full lunar eclipse in Sagittarius happening on June 5th, coming up here real soon, 2020. And I just have to tell you, the energy's wonky. It's absolutely wonky. So I am such a person stuck in patterns, right? Because I'm a double Cancer and a double Virgo. Cancer Sun, Virgo Moon, Cancer Rising, Virgo Venus. And so I'm a studier and I'm an empath and I'm intuitive, right? And so, and very watery. So this energy, I don't know, you guys will have to tell me in the comments section down below, how is this Gemini energy treating you? Now, of course, if you are a Gemini, you're used to this, right? Being of two minds. I don't know why they didn't give the Geminis the two fish tied together. Because for me, energetically, now I don't know what the astrologers say about Gemini energy, but how I've been experiencing it is like I'm here in the middle, and it's not that I can't decide which way to go. It's just both ways are valid. It's like A or B. Well, A, yeah. B, yeah. And then it's B, yeah. A, yeah. So I've got this wishy-washy, back and forth kind of energy that Spirit's been showing me for this particular lunar phase, which is so freaking confusing. I've been having a hard time with completing tasks because I get distracted easy. I've had a hard time with my normal rituals. Everything's changed. It just feels weird. It's like I normally get up and I do X, Y, Z. And during this Gemini energy, this last month, I just I set my intentions when I wake up that I'm going to do it the way I always do it, and then at the last minute I change my mind and I've did something different. For example, I never shower. I always take a bath. I have a garden tub. And this morning I went to draw my bath water and I decided to take a shower instead. I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose was, but just out of nowhere, I wanted to do something different. You know, I always make my morning coffee in my Keurig, and this morning I come out and I go to set it, and I saw my French press, and I was like, nah, I think I'm going to have it through my French press. Okay, so usually I do the monthly channeled reading, and so for those of you who are new, I don't use cards. I pray, I meditate, I go to the mountain, talk to God about the devil, right? I just go and I seek answers and I get them and I bring them back to you guys. And I do channeled writing. So I normally would take a sacred bath, right? And do my rituals, and I would light candles and I would put on binaural beats or something and go deep inside of myself and have a conversation with my team about, you know, what energy is this lunar cycle bringing us. And so when I went to go do my ritual, I was like, I just had a shower several hours ago. I don't think I want a bath. So I went in and I sat in my chair and I did everything I normally would do in the bathtub, but I just did it in my chair. And so I guess what I'm trying to get at is, for me personally, this Gemini energy is literally like having choices. And for the first time in a very long while, I choose different. It's that simple. I just don't know why. It was an inspired action. I just chose something different. So when I did my meditation, I had a really hard time writing things down because I'd get a little something, I'd write it down. And usually when I do my channeled message, it's like a storybook. It's like a little story that Spirit tells us, right? Now, this time it was like, oh, here's this topic, and here's this topic, and here's this topic, and here's this topic. And it feels like Seven of Cups energy, which, by the way, is really, really, really interesting, considering almost every reading I've watched, because I love to watch other readers. That's how I learn, to read, other than my intuition. And that Seven of Cups seems to be a theme showing up in my readings that I do for other people and for their readings that they do for me. And so I think what Spirit's showing me is that we don't have just option A or option B, because our paradigms are shifting. The winds of change have stirred. I wrote a poem once, a long time ago, and I couldn't quote it to you to save my life, and it's probably gone because a lot of my poetry books got ruined in my dad's flood in his basement. But I wrote a poem, and I remember a stanza from it was, "The winds of change have stirred, and we know not," let me remember just for a minute. "The winds of change are stirring, and we know not what will be occurring. For the choice that used to be is the choice that never came. And the choice that," how did it go, guys? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have even brought it up. But I wrote a poem. It was about change. It was like, you have expectations. You have belief systems. You have paradigms. You have a set rule book in your head about what you believe you can have versus what you believe you can't have. So I think I'm going to name this video "The Winds of Change Have Stirred," because what Spirit showed me for a visual for this energy of this eclipse is like we're up in an air balloon, a hot air balloon, because Gemini is air energy, right? And so I don't know anything about hot air balloons, but this is the way Spirit showed it to me. Somehow, some way, the people in the hot air balloon have a certain way of steering it. Freudian slip. Different way of steering it. And so I see a big gust of energy, an energetic wind that's going to come in and blow our balloon, blow that hot air balloon. And maybe we were on our way to Kansas and we end up in Africa. It's just this energy of don't have too many expectations, because things aren't necessarily going to be option A or option B. Because there's a lot more options out there that we're not even considering. And that, I think, is the energy of this lunar eclipse, is that, the eclipse is when the moon opposes the sun. And so it's like darkness. Things go dark. We can't see real clearly. So if you're up in this hot air balloon and you're steering it, you know where you're going. You've got you've got your compass or whatever it is you need to steer this hot air balloon. And then this big wind comes in. And all of a sudden, your balloon's like all over the place. And you end up someplace totally different than you ever imagined was possible. It just wasn't even on the agenda. So I'm really curious because I'm a double Virgo. I want to see what's going to happen because I kind of feel like we have been, like last month's lunar phase, channeled message was about trust. And Spirit kept showing me a farmer out in the field planting his seeds. And, you know, I told the story to all of you if you watched it about, you know, the farmer can't go out every day and dig the seeds up to see if God's doing his work, right? He tills the soil, he fertilizes the soil, he plants the seeds. He nurtures, waters, takes care of it. But he can't control what's going on underground. He just can't. So I think the reason why Spirit told us that we needed to practice using our new tools is because if you're the novice on the ascension path and you're just learning about childhood wounding and shadow work and purging and just a lot of new esoteric knowledge, right? Because the initiate goes to the school of mysteries, that which is not known, or at least not known by many. But I think that's what's changing, guys. I think for too long, we've been in the distorted masculine energy. And this esoteric knowledge that used to be for the elite, not really the elite, but for the master, let's say master, that has a better connotation. So I just feel like all of a sudden I just had that Gemini energy. It's like I'm so focused on a channeling and then another. I'm going to tell you what it's like being a medium and an energy reader and a channeler. It's like out there is all the information, all the different thought forms, everything we've created in our mind, in our realities, multidimensional, cyclical timelines. Just, I feel like my radio is scanning and getting so many different, I'm picking up so many different frequencies. That's that Seven of Cups energy. I just feel it. Like I'm on a topic and I'm talking to you about it. And then the winds of change come in and it pushes me over here because I think being the initiate, becoming the adept, is that we have to learn that all possibilities exist. And that to truly become the magician, the alchemist, the true manifester of your desires, is you can't limit yourself. You can't contain all that you are. Because remember, Spirit said, know thyself and practice. What have you learned since your awakening? Some of you guys just recently awoke. Some of us, you know, I can tell you, I awoke in, I believe it was November 2018 when the blood moon, that big blood moon that was talked about in the Bible. It wasn't just the blood moon, because we've had those before, but it was a certain blood moon, right? It was a blue moon, a blood moon, a full moon. It was a super moon too, I think. I don't know. It was crazy energy. It was like I had new gifts come online that I just never dealt with before. Just my whole life changed, guys. Everything about me changed. And I was awakened in my twin flame journey. And I got a divorce, and I lost 115 pounds, and I changed my career, and like everything changed. And so for me personally, I can't speak for you guys, but for me personally, I've been faced with a lot of choices, you know. What do I want to do? Where do I want to live? How do I want to be? I don't have to play the role of wife, mother. Yes, I'm still a mother, and yes, I'm still in that, but it's a different dynamic to be a mother, a single mother, than it was as a married mother, right? Because it was always debated, you know. We would debate how to raise the children, and it was collaboration and contribution. That's the one area of my marriage that was really great. The rest, not so much. So let's go back to last month's channeled message, okay? We were told that we are the student, we are the initiate, and Spirit had given us on these waves, because like I said, I woke up back then. You know, some people have been slowly awakening their whole lives. Me for sure. But I mean the biggie, you know, that big, oh my God, now I can't unknow what I know. I can't go back to being that person. I can't. Because that person didn't know a lot of things that this person knows. Okay? And so, like, all these choices that are to be made, we've been slowly being guided by the stars and by the lunar cycles and by the energies playing out in the galaxy. And these energies, as above, so below, kind of support us in a very magical way. And so with so many things, like really, I couldn't even do a podcast with you guys on everything that has happened in the skies that is extraordinarily different than the normal cycles. Like some of these conversations haven't been had in the sky for a long time. Thousands and eons, right? So I know that this, I mean, I apologize. The Gemini energy has got me all over the place. So I could literally probably sit here and channel to you all night. Different cups, right? That 7 of cups, there's a lot of cups. And they're all filled with mystery and intrigue and they're all valid. Somehow I'm feeling like before I didn't think they were all valid. Well, that one's bullshit. I don't want that one. That one, I don't want that one. Because we have these belief systems, these paradigms, these religious beliefs, these background programs that have been fed to us through the media, fed to us through government control, and fed to us by music and Hollywood. And it's like, I feel like this energy is defragging our computers. And so we've got room, we will have room for so many more files. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me in the comments what you think of this. So I believe as a collective, we're kind of like, Sagittarius is kind of bringing us that energy of youthful, playful, curious, intrigued, childlike energy. And the Gemini energy, which, by the way, the South and North Node moved out of Cancer and Capricorn, double Cancer here, into Sagittarius and Gemini for the next year and a half, right? Like 18 months, I think it said. And so your North Node is your future. And your South Node is your past. Well, South is in Sagittarius. So, and it's retrograde season. Guys, I'm telling you, energetically, I know nothing about astrology, but energetically, I feel like childhood shit is on the agenda during this eclipse. This is going to be with the Sagittarius being the past. And Sagittarius is very intuitive, and they're very playful, and they're very childlike. And quite frankly, neutral, somewhat. And so I think that this eclipse, because you know eclipses tend to eclipse things out of your life, and it clears energy, like cleaning your shoe closet, to bring in the new energies. So I think that Sagittarius, the things from the past that never got resolved, childhood sweethearts, childhood dreams that you've forgotten or that you put aside, childhood innocence and choice. Do you remember being a kid? It's hard to remember being that free. You know, it's like, what do you want to do? I don't know, let's go play in the woods. We go play in the woods for a little while, we get bored and say, now what do you want to do? Let's go ride bikes. We ride bikes for a little while. Now what do you want to do? Let's go see if Cindy's home. Okay. And it was like when summer was in and school was out, there was always stimulation and there was always curiosity and intrigue and changes that just flowed so naturally because there were no inhibitions. And so I think what we are going to be eclipsing has to come back up for review, judgment. I'm seeing the judgment card. It's like, okay, where in the past did you make choices and change your belief systems due to somebody else's programming, not yours? What would you be right now if that child got to choose freely what they wanted to be? And for some of us, kudos, not me. For some people, they're just master manifestors and they've always been what they wanted to be. They never let anybody else's programming but those people are usually called boat rockers, right? And there's a lot of boat rocking going on in our collective right now. Some good. Well, let me rephrase that. Some bad. Most good. So I really didn't want to talk about this, but Spirit's putting it on my heart to talk about it. You see, I'm not political. I don't care who's president. I believe that we exist on the timeline we choose and create. And so I used to worry about it. I don't worry about it anymore. I'm in the flow state in that area of my life. There are other areas of my life I'd like to be in the flow state in. But that one, I've been in the flow state. It's like I'm trusting God and the universe I'm holding frequency, holding light frequency, holding space. That's another thing. Spirit, see, I'm changing topics on you again. I hope you can keep up because that's that Gemini energy for me. I don't know why, but it's got me chasing the wind, quite frankly. So I was showed by Spirit also that I have to go back because it was the original. It was what was being channeled to me originally. And then I had to switch gears because, like I said, I didn't want a bath. I wanted a shower. I keep switching gears, guys. I hope you can follow me. But originally I started this channeled message, and what Spirit was showing me was turn up the love light. That with the COVID-19 and with the one world ruling force agenda and some of those lower timelines that are happening right now that a lot of people are experiencing. Not me, but a lot of people are. And so there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot of people, grown-ups mostly. I mean, the kids are, depends on the age, right? How much programming have they had? But it's like all of our programs are being challenged during this time. Our belief systems are being challenged. And so being the novice or the initiate and becoming the adept, we were given new tools and new gifts in order to navigate the new energy, because we're creating something different that's never been created before. And so we can't create it from the past. We just can't do it. We have to let the past go. We have to be willing to be like the wind and just land right where we're supposed to be instead of being in control. See, and the COVID is challenging society's control, challenging everything. And then that poor man that the police officer put his knee on and murdered, guys. I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to stay neutral. Spirit told me that's part of the message, by the way. As light workers, we need to just not judge people on the past or the way things have been done, because we're creating something different. So, still, there's a lot of pissed off people out there. There's a lot of controlled people, asleep and controlled people who had been controlled for so long that they are now being given this beautiful gift of freeing themselves from the control. And they're triggered. And everything they've ever believed and ever known is being challenged. And they're scared. And so if you're a light worker here as ground crew, and none of this has really, really touched your life, because if you're still the initiate, you haven't gained the control or the perspective or know thyself, right? The whole lesson about if God is everything, everything is God, the Alpha, the Omega, everything that was, is, and ever shall be. What does that make you? Spirit told us all in that last lunar cycle that we're just finishing right now, that we were the initiate with an opportunity to become the adept if we use the new tools they gave us to do our purges, do our shadow work, to know thyself, know that you be still. And know that I am God. And no, that doesn't mean God with a big G. It means God with the little g. That's all God. Aspects of the original. And so if you've been awakened and you're far enough on the awakening journey to where you have done a lot of this work, and no judgment for those of you who are just waking up. You'll get your turn, trust me. But just for the moment, I'm talking to the adepts. The ones that have done a lot of their shadow work, done a lot of their purging, been whipped around by the wind, and still seems to be able to ground the new energies. Okay, if you're in that group of people, that are not in the world, let me say that again, but are in the world, but not of the world. There's Jesus's quote. Then your job during this lunar eclipse, and probably not just this one, but we're just dealing with this one at the moment. Your job is, if you've semi-mastered, because the Hierophant is the student and the teacher, that's where you're supposed to be right now. Well, okay, Spirit. So they just said no judgments, no judgments. Okay, everybody is exactly and divinely on their own timeline, which is perfect, right? You can't know what you don't know until you know it. And so no judgments. But for those of you who feel called, who feel sturdy, who feel strong, who feel like they can stand in a windstorm and trust and know that they can handle it, know thyself. You're going to be the light holders, okay? That means you can't be triggered by the racist stuff. You can't be triggered by the social agenda stuff, right? You can't be triggered by the adrenochrome, Pizzagate, all those low vibrational timelines, which, by the way, are real. And some people are deeply involved in it and deeply experiencing it. There are victims and there are victimizers. But if you have overcome, if you have gotten to this part of your journey where you can stand in the middle of that raging storm and just hold space, just hold the light, don't choose a side. 7 of Cups, many options, and some of them you've never experienced before because we're creating new. So that was a definite message for the light workers that feel like they are ready to be that. So if you're on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or whatever social platform, and you're being triggered by the media or by, maybe you're an empath like me and you just feel the sadness, you feel it, you feel the hurt and the pain that the collective is experiencing at this time. And, some of us hold it in our bodies. My twin flame was talking about a lot of pain in the body. And so, this is a storm. But we're going to have to hold space. And you're going to have to clear your energy on a daily basis, right? You wake up in the morning, you shield. Think of yourself as a light warrior, because you are. Shield up, wings out. Hold space intentionally. Because remember, know thyself. If you are a creator being, from a creator race, from the original creator, and your superpower is creating with your focused attention and intention without causing harm. That's the magician. That's the high priestess. That is magic. That's how we create. It's how we manifest anything, from a new hairdo to peace in the world. So if you feel ready, that's your mission work right now, is to not choose. Don't be triggered. Like if somebody posts something on Facebook and it gets you, it's not love. You're like, oh, my heart chakra's open and I feel so much love and empathy for the world right now. And that hurt whatever they said, right? Whether it was political or racist or whatever, that hurts. And I know there are people viewing it that are hurting because of it. And it's like, it's the storm fanning the fire. Okay? Sagittarius. with Gemini. It's fire and air. And so things are coming down, guys. Things are burning down. But we as light workers are not supposed to participate. We are supposed to hold the light. So when you get triggered and you get angry, don't post a political statement. Don't tell people the way it's supposed to be. It's changing. And we don't know what it's going to look like because it's a storm. And a fire. Oh, thank you, Spirit. A firestorm. Yeah, put the two together, right? It's a firestorm. So there's a deep cleansing that's happening. And the people who, the poor, not poor, stop, Tracy, with the judgments already. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not normally like that. I'm being triggered too. Okay, so I feel empathy for people who aren't awakened in the matrix and they don't understand what's going on, and their entire world is just, it's like the rug being pulled out from under their feet. They're so unbalanced. And you guys, I don't care if you're an initiate who isn't completely awake and don't know what to do. Hold the light, babies. Hold the light. It's what you came here for. Hold the light. Don't choose political views. Don't choose white versus black. Don't participate. Hold the light. Without agenda. Without agenda. With intention, but not agenda. Right? Because we have options now. We don't know what those options are going to look like. The stars are supporting us and changing things. The winds of change have stirred. So even if you don't even know why you're incarnated here, but you feel deep on a very deep level that you are a light worker, or that you are a way shower, or that you are indigo, rainbow, blue wave, red wave, I don't care, because, you know, it's all just expression of an emotion and a feeling. And then we give it a name and it becomes. My brother-in-law, if you were watching, David, I was listening too. Nothing becomes until it was given a name. That's the creation of it, right? You'll have to go deeper on that one. I had to go deeper on that one, but it's the truth, you know? Everything that exists that we know about, we tend to put titles on and names on. And so, you know, that kind of solidifies the creation. I'm Tracy. Nice to meet you. That's a candle. That's a deck of cards. That's a cat. That's paper towels. That's newspapers. That's kind of messy. Laundry. Can you just hold space? Try to be neutral. Try to trust what's going on underground. Because a new crop is coming. A new abundance is coming. A new way is coming. And we need to trust the wave we came in on. We incarnated specifically at this time to be here for this shift. And that's what it is. That balloon, guys. But for years, we've looked at options as A and B, either or, this or that. That's the energy of duality. But with the divine feminine coming back, it's that middle way, right? It's that malleable, loving, nurturing flow state that brings the fertility and the creation. And so that's what I think that this eclipse is going to be about. That's macro. Micro, it's going to look like people dying, people fighting, people scared, people with agendas, shelling out money to take advantage of the energy that people are experiencing. Try just to be neutral and to hold space. And when I say be neutral, that doesn't mean accepting the very low vibrational, public execution of a black man on camera for 9 fucking minutes without anybody calling it in or pulling their own gun. I wonder how many people in the audience had a gun. It's just hard for me because I want to choose. I want to choose a side. Spirit's saying don't, because the sides are changing. And then it doesn't have to be evil or good. It can just be. It can just be, right? And what we're trying to teach the collective by being here is how to be new, be different, be higher, lighter. There were so many really touching stories that Spirit brought to me today via, one was on the radio and the other one was on Facebook. But there was a police officer, don't ask me where, don't ask me how, because it was just not important to me. But the energy was important to me. Supposedly there was rioting in a big city somewhere. And there are legitimate people in the crowd, legitimately, peacefully protesting. And then there are those that show up out of nowhere. They don't live there, didn't grow up there, don't know why they're there. Pretty sure we know why they're there. But that's me wanting to not be neutral. So if I go back to neutral, let's just say it was a beautiful story about protesters noticing that a police officer, the bad guy, right? Only not, got separated from his other officers, and he was ripe for the picking. And they were angry, and they were catching fire to buildings, and it was a collective thing. It was beautiful. It was like all of a sudden these peaceful, organized protesters saw a vulnerable man, an honorable man, just trying to relieve the negative energy and somehow bring order from chaos, right? And so they protected him, guys. They built a big circle around him and fought off protesters that were violent and wanted that cop. That's a beautiful story. That's holding space for a different outcome. Those people didn't know if they were going to live or die defending that police officer. And a lot of them were African American. That's love. That's unconditional love. It's what we stand for. It's what we're here for. And kudos. I want to give them all a big round of applause because they're probably light workers. Ground crew. Right there in the thick of it all. Holding space with love in their heart. Yeah. There was a second story that came on the radio. And it was about an African American man who lived in, I think it was Minneapolis, I'm not sure. But the radio story was that he was afraid to go out of his home to go for a walk, to walk his dog, I think it was. I can't remember. And In his frustration, he posted on social media a rant about how afraid he was to leave his own home to walk his dog on a beautiful sunny afternoon right outside in his own neighborhood. And I don't know what he wrote because I didn't see it and they didn't read it on the radio, but it must have been pretty moving. Because the way the radio announcer told the story was that people in the city saw his rant and were so moved by his genuine, gentle nature that they rallied. There were like 50 of them that rallied, showed up at his doorstep, and walked with him. 50 people surrounded him and walked with him through the city, protecting him. All races, all colors. No colors. No color. No color. Because unconditional love doesn't see color. Does a mother see color? No. Because the divine feminine loves everybody. So those were probably light workers. And I'm sure that if the news people would report more of the positive stuff than the negative stuff, you would see that there's a lot of that going on the planet right now. So we're in the middle of a firestorm. And the winds of change are here. It's a 5, right? On the 5th of June. It's a 5 number change. Okay? So, I don't know what you'll take away from this channeled message. And I'm not sure what the cards are going to say this month. This is all different. This is not my normal transmission. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I can hold a message long enough to read the way I normally read. But I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm going to hold space. I'm going to see what Spirit has to say, and I'm going to read the cards. And so I think the theme of this month's lunar eclipse is the past needs to be revisited. And we need to close cycles. This is on the very 3D level, not the bigger macro, hold light in space with your love light. I'm talking about practicality in your everyday life. This eclipse is going to bring back people and situations and ideas and belief systems from your past. And I think it's going to be a time of 7 of Cups. What stays and what goes? And nope, Spirit's checking me again. Stop. Okay, thank you. No, we already had that. That was that Scorpio moon. All that stuff. There's endings that are happening. Everybody already pretty much chose what stayed and what goes. And Spirit forcefully took from people a lot of things they didn't want to let go of. And I think this winds of change is, how is all that going to wrap up? How is all of that going to... Because I know when I got my divorce, there was stuff, right? Had to go to the courthouse, had to file paperwork, had to follow all the rules, had to make a list, check it twice. It was just crazy. And then I had to plan where I was going to live and what I was going to drive and how I was going to earn my money. And did I want to grow my hair? Did I want to keep it short? Did I want to lose weight? Did I want to stay the way I was? There's so many options. And I think the light workers went through it first so that we can now help the collective go through the same shifts, the same firestorm that we went through. So you're going to have to take a look. If there's anything on your agenda or in your energy that never completed, they never said goodbye. I never got resolution. I or a dream. I had a dream and I gave it up because everybody told me it was the impossible dream. Or I can't remember my childhood because somebody stole it from me. Because I changed. And I'm not that little girl anymore. Those kind of things are going to have to be given closure. And if you're co-creating with a partner or somebody else, you can't always get closure from them. So you might have to give yourself closure. And you're going to have to tie it up. You're going to have to choose. And quite frankly, if you choose that that person stays in your life, then you have to. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I don't know why, but I feel it. You're going to have to let go of the way you think it's supposed to be. Or the way you think it's going to plan out. Or the way you think it's going to show up. Or the way you think they should behave or act. Control is gone for now. Control is Cancer, Capricorn, at least in my energy. Gemini and Sagittarius is just a freaking firestorm. And anything goes because we're creating something different than we've ever seen before. It's going to be different, guys. Might have happened in some timeline somewhere, maybe Atlantean or, but no. I think in our DNA, we know what failed there and we're more prepared now energetically to do it different, build it different, similar, but better. A lot of lessons, right? As an old soul. So you're going to have to take a look at your expectations. And I get a little upset because I'm a divine feminine and I have a twin flame, and I get a little pissed off when I get a lot of divine timing, divine timing, divine timing. And probably that very energy is what is holding back the divine timing, right? So I'm learning a lot of stuff. And yeah. We're building something new, guys. We're building something brand new that we've never had before. So just hold space. Stay neutral. Don't jump on the I love and support Trump bandwagon, or I hate or don't want to ever have Trump bandwagon. And don't choose sides. And don't choose black over white or white over black or any other color, because color is not real, guys. It's not real. It's perception. As is everything. So this is almost an hour long, and I could go on and on and on and on. So the only thing I want to just touch on before I go and start the zodiacs is that Mercury's going retrograde. He's going to join all the others here from the 18th of June to the 12th of July. Wow. My birthday's July 11th. So, I have something to look forward to and celebrate the day after. But, Spirit told me to caution you guys about taking great care with your communications during Mercury retrograde. Because Mercury is the ruling planet of, and I wrote that down too, Gemini. It's practical. It's communication. And it's the past. So Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Gemini is going to be, you're going to have to be neutral. You're going to have to be like gender neutral, race neutral, political neutral. You're going to need to be trusting and know yourself and use your intuition And you're going to have to be very, very, very careful about what you post on social media, or what you say to your twin flame, or what you speak to your family, because things are going to get very easily misconstrued in a firestorm. So you're going to be triggered. You're going to want to take a stand. You're going to want to contribute because you're a light worker. But it's kind of best to just not communicate. Just don't choose sides in your communication, and be very careful, because you're going to trigger people if you choose. And it's not rational, guys. It's a shitstorm. No, okay, Spirit, sorry. It's a firestorm. Feels like a shitstorm. But we're going to have to remain strong in spirit and neutral in the physical. Communications are very easily misunderstood. And there's a lot of angry people just waiting to take it out on somebody, because their whole world is changing and their paradigms are shifting, and they're scared and they're angry and they're sad and they're moved and they're winning. Spirit just said it. Awake, asleep, light, dark, don't matter. We're winning. We're winning. Hold your light. Just hold space. Just try to be neutral. Try not to get triggered. Try not to be caught up in the energy. It's very difficult because I am an energy reader and I'm highly affected by the moon as a double Cancer. So I'm going to have to practice what I preach. And if you're friends of mine on Facebook and you see me get triggered, come and tell me, Tracy, back to neutral, please. Tracy, back to neutral. Because I have a feeling it's going to be just as difficult for the way showers and the trailblazers and the pathfinders, ground crew, as it is for everybody else, because this is our paradigm. This is our 3D reality. It's where we live. It doesn't have to be where we exist, but it's where we live. So you're going to want to participate. You're going to want to tip the scales in the way of your belief system. But Spirit's saying that's shifting too. Hot air balloon. Going to land someplace different. And when you get off, you're going to see something you've never seen before. And you're going to be faced with new choices, new decisions, new energies. New. So I think that's all I want to talk about. I don't even know what to title it. I want to call it a shitstorm, but I guess it's a firestorm, right? Fire, air. And I am here for personal private readings if you need it. If you don't, then maybe I need one from you. Because this energy has got me a little wonky. I'm just going to say it, wonky. But in good ways. I'm trying new things. I enjoyed my shower. I enjoyed my French pressed coffee. And we were supposed to go to my friend's house today. And somehow the winds of change shifted. And then that wasn't going to happen. So then I decided I was going to look for a motorized gas bicycle with a gas motor for my 18-year-old son. So he doesn't have a driver's license. So, he's still working on that. But anyhow, I wanted to help him. So look, the winds went, and all of a sudden I manifested a bike on Facebook. I was talking to the guy for over an hour. He's like, the bike's like brand new. All it needs is a chain. But the thing was, I called everywhere and I couldn't find anybody that had the chain. I looked online and they're all sold out. And it's like, I don't know, this COVID thing's got people really wanting to ride bicycles. Walmart had no bicycles, none. They were gone. They said 6 to 8 weeks before they get another one. Another weird thing. So I told the gentleman, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pass because he needs it now, and I'm going to have to look into a moped or maybe motorcycle. I don't know, something. Maybe buy him a used car somewhere. But it just shifted just like that. Just shifted. It was like, what I thought for sure. I already told the guy I'm going to come pick it up. I'm going to go get it. Blah, 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 blah. Had it all planned out, what time I was going to be there, and then. So that changed. And then I was going to go right to my sister's house. And I got a little text on my phone that says, your prescription is ready for pickup. That way, opposite direction of my sister's house. And I was like, well, I really need my medication. So, winds of change. Went that way. Bought me and Jesse some ice cream. Probably didn't need it. Really, really enjoyed it. Got my medication. And then I went to Trudy's. So, expect the unexpected. And try not to hold on too tightly to the outcome. Be in the flow state. Because I think beautiful things will come to you. Your abundance, that farmer that tilled his soil and did the work and is working on the manifestation. Trust that it's on its way. Hold faith, hold space, non-judgmental, and allow the firestorm to happen. It's necessary. It's painful. It's a purge. See, Mother Gaia is purging the same as humanity is purging, and paradigms are purging, and belief systems are purging, and purging is hurtful. It's pain, it's wounds, and it's necessary. So, dance with your demons. If you still have shadow work to do, work on it. Take those triggers that are given during the lunar eclipse, and instead of channeling them into participating in the shift of the paradigm, practice. Be adept at the alchemy of holding a vision of what you want to see created. Be the change you want to see. That's a good one. All right? So, a lot of shit going on. You better just be like a kite. There's another one. I don't know that I'd want to be up there in this shit storm in a hot air balloon or a kite. But I don't think we have a choice. So, if you're going to be there anyways, fly like the wind and enjoy the ride. And hold faith and hold space and hold unconditional love and work on you and hold that light. Build your light, right? Every day, well, not every day, but a lot. I do a little visualization exercise that I saw on some email or something like that. I don't know. But it was like, imagine a match inside of you. And every day, imagine that match getting brighter, right? Well, actually, take the match. I visualize taking the match inside of me and lighting a candle, and taking the candle and lighting a torch, and taking the torch and lighting the sun. And so, energetically, you raise your vibration and you love with all your heart, like a mother, like a divine feminine, without judgment, because your children are hurting. Your children are hurting. I don't know where that came from, but I hear it. Your children are hurting. And it's growing pains. And they gotta go through it. They gotta go through it. It's scary, and it's hard, and it's painful. But it's going to give us all a heart with wings and a soul as light as a feather. And that, my friend, is all Anubis requires for you to make it into heaven. So I'm going to end on that note. I love you guys. We're into a whole hour. Oh my goodness. But I really hope you stayed. I hope you did. And if you didn't, it's okay. No judgment. I'm going to fly like the wind. Okay? Namaste.